DITA, which was an international organization to help women who wanted to ordain. So I have Ayakema, powerful, influential, traveling around the world, access to all this teaching, well supported. And then what? I see these 3-time bhikkhunis. It's like somebody threw a bucket of cold water on me, like, this is not computing. How could people who call themselves Buddhists allow this to happen? Did they not know that they were misrepresenting the intentions of the Buddha?
So tell us about your home. Tell us how your kuti was constructed.
And that's when I began my education on what's happening in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, Burma, Myanmar, Sri Lanka.
10-20 ปีมานี้ก็มีสตรีอยากจะบวชมันมีข้อแม้อยู่ข้อหนึ่งว่าการจะบวชเป็นภิกษุณีนั้นต้องให้ภิกษุณีบวชให้ก่อนพูดง่ายๆก็เรียกว่าต้องมีภิกษุณีเป็นอุปัชฌาย์ให้ก่อนถ้าไม่มีภิกษุณีเป็นอุปัชฌาย์ให้ก็บวชไม่ได้นี่คือปัญหาพอบวชไม่ได้ท่านก็บอกว่าท่านไปบวชมาจากที่อื่นถามมาที่อื่นที่ไหนอ่ะบวชแบบโจรอยู่อ่ะไม่ใช่บวชเปิดเผยเพราะฉะนั้นไม่เป็นที่ยอมรับหรอก
In the beginning, when there were no fully ordained nuns, the Buddha allowed the monks to give ordination to women, and this was never lifted. But Thai Sangha believed that ordination must be first given by the order of ordained nuns and then order of ordained monks, which is a misbelief, I would say.
It seems to most scholars that it was always a troubled and controversial issue whether women could really attain equal status in the Buddhist hierarchy and in Buddhist religious institutions. And even in the early centuries when there was a flourishing female order, they already were, there was competition, for one thing, between the male order and the female order. So the monastic order depends for its livelihood on the support of the lay community. And that has to do with how much the lay community respects them or not. So if the lay community has in its mind that actually men are always stronger and smarter than women, they're going to respect the men more than the women. But if they are open to gender and sex equality, that there might be a possibility that the lay community might even prefer female nuns instead of monks. But in any event, it was competitive. Most of the monastic orders in the Buddhist world are kind of conservative. Not all of them, and not every single monk, and there's wonderful people who have been really strong and brave on this, but they're kind of conservative, and they don't want to rock the boat, and they don't want to have to bother with a female new ordination lineage, which is going to be, in some sense, possibly competing with them, or maybe even surpassing them. And so that's really what the problem is that they have not been very cooperative. And they haven't shown interest and energy and excitement about reestablishing and providing this opportunity for women.
I've been fully ordained for more than 20 years. So I'm also a bhikkhuni preceptor, or Pawatini Upajjhaya, which means that I'm able or authorized by the Sangha to be able to support the full ordination of women. During the time of my monastic life, then I've seen the Bhikkhuni Sangha not only revive in Sri Lanka, starting with just 10 and then another 20, so 33 women, and then more and more. In the first couple of years, then we see up to 500 women. And now, from last year, we counted 5,555 Theravada Bhikkhunis in the world. Here, the first woman with Native American heritage ordained here fully on this land at our Aranyabodhi Hermitage in 2010. So I thought that was a wonderful kind of milestone. I spent most of my early time training in Asia. It was only at the time of founding Dhammadharini that I then started to live in the United States and develop the monastic community that's open to the Westerners. And our facilities started out so small and with so little support, just 20 people as our first supporters and just a tiny rented place. In the beginning, people said to me when we decided to start, they were afraid that there wouldn't even be support for even 3 months of living on alms without someone having a job or having some great patron or this kind of thing. They thought people are not used to supporting the nuns. And they support the bhikkhus, but they're just not enculturated to supporting the nuns.
You know, when we are living in America, our Asian devotees, Thai, Sri Lankan, especially Theravada countries' devotees, they take care of us very well. They provide food, they provide our robe, they provide necessary everything to pour us. Unfortunately, they don't do same way to the nun. Our society not yet supporting the bhikkhuni. That is very sad thing. We have to start to help them. Bhikkhuni order very, very important today in this world. When I ordained here over around 35 to 40 bhikkhunis, they have to take care of themselves. They don't have a monastery like I do have here. Other male bhikkhus have a temple, they don't have. Some of our nuns stay in the forest area. It is not easy for them, very far, very forest areas, not much facilities. Stay there because they love the sasana, they want to practice.
There are certainly challenges, and there are also solutions. I feel like starting a vihara in the San Francisco Bay Area is quite doable because there are a lot of people interested in the Dhamma, and they're interested in women doing well. The bhikkhunis don't get anything. We get a fraction of the support bhikkhus get. But it's enough. And I feel like this life is a life based on faith. And if you really practice and you move forward and you're determined, then support comes. And it's not like you're doing it for the support, you're just sharing the Dhamma. Since becoming a bhikkhuni, it's possible to help other women realize that they too can live this kind of spiritual life, and giving them more places where they can ordain. And there are a number of women who call or write or visit who are interested in trying to find their way to deeper spiritual practice, and it could take any form. And it's wonderful to be able to try to help them see where they belong. Maybe at another bhikkhuni monastery, or maybe in a different form.
How does if one finds oneself falling out of mindfulness, how can one counter that?
Everybody loses mindfulness. It's an ongoing effort to observe what the mind is doing and keep coming back to the Dhamma channel.
I think it is important
Some of them are teaching meditation, some of them are themselves practicing meditation, some of them are doing services, temples, and some of them are counseling, those are the things they are doing. Common folks easily approach nun than monk. Whenever any woman has any problems, family matters, they shy, they do not want to talk to the man, monk.
การมีภิกษุณีจะสามารถช่วยให้คนเข้าถึงศาสนามากขึ้นไหมคะอย่างเช่นแบบผู้หญิงเองที่อาจจะเห็นว่าพอมีภิกษุณีก็อาจจะอยากเข้าหาอยากเข้ามาปรึกษาอยากใกล้ชิดมันก็ใกล้ชิดง่ายกว่ากับพระภิกษุสงฆ์อะไรเงี้ยค่ะคือมีข้อดีไหมอะคะในด้านนี้ค่ะ
ข้อนี้ตัดไปได้เลยเพราะว่าการที่มีภิกษุณีมากขึ้นแล้วจะเข้าถึงประชาชนได้ดีกว่านี่ถ้าภิกษุณีเข้าถึงประชาชนได้ก็หมายความว่าภิกษุณีจะเละมากเลยจะเละมากเลยแล้วก็จะถูกชาวบ้านตำหนิบวชแม่ชีที่บวชชีนุ่งขาวห่มขาวเนี่ยถ้าสมมุติว่าเสียหายมันก็ไม่เสียหายอะไรมากเพราะท่านรักษาศีล8แต่ถ้าภิกษุณี311ข้อนี่หันซ้ายก็โดนหันขวาก็โดนมันติดข้อนู้นข้อนี้เป็นแม่ชีมาทำงานแทนถ้าแม่ชีเป็นสายปฏิบัติดิ่งไปเลยก็ได้แต่ไม่ปฏิบัตินั้นไปปฏิบัติโซเชียลแอคทิวิตี้ไปก็ได้มันทำง่ายกว่าด้วยถ้าจะปฏิบัติให้บรรลุนะคฤหัสถ์ก็บรรลุธรรมได้เป็นพระอรหันต์ได้ไม่ต้องมาเรียกว่าเป็นโรคความดันที่จะต้องบวชให้ได้นะบวชแล้วก็อาจจะไม่ได้เรื่องอะไรเพราะดื้อบวชแล้วอาจจะไม่ได้เรื่องอะไรเลยก็ได้
Why is that the monks are telling us that you don't have to get attached to this way of life, form of living, but they themselves are ordained. So the question goes back, why are they ordained?
One time when I was asked in Thailand, why did you become a bhikkhuni? I said it's out of faith in the Buddha. Because when women wanted to get ordained, he could have said, okay, here's 8 precepts and white robes, and that'll be fine for you. But he didn't. He had bhikkhus, and he created bhikkhuni. The Buddha didn't have special teachings for the select inner circle, and it was the same between men and women. So he gave us the bhikkhuni ordination. This is understandable from a fully enlightened being, and it's amazing 2,500 years ago, and it's even more amazing that we have resistance to it now in the world where we see that women are capable of doing so many things.
Today world is changed, not ancient Indian traditions or Asian tradition anymore. Now we have a vice president, also woman here. So increasing the support from women, women roles are very important in this part of the world. Even the Asian countries nowadays, the women are coming up.
For ordination, there are 2 steps. The first one is to be ordained as Samaneri, as novice. I can give ordination. But for full ordination, we still have to travel to Sri Lanka or India because it has the final stage of ordination is by bhikkhus, by the monks. We cannot invite Thai monks because otherwise, if they do, then they are going against the order of the Sangharaja. It's a shame, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it's a shame because we as Thai women would very much want to be ordained by the Thai monks themselves. It causes society which is not balanced. Particularly women, when women do not have role model in religion, do not have role model in spiritual context, what can you expect? What can you expect your granddaughters would grow up in. You know, if your granddaughters can grow up in a setting where they can see women in religious role, in spiritual role, wouldn't it be better? It's just a question that we need to ask ourselves.
I started to feel like, as the Buddha said, like a farmer cultivating the fields and talking about fields of merit. You know, if the field is rocky and not cultivated well, only a very few seeds of great resilience will be able to grow. But for what the Buddha himself established, it's like called a well-cultivated field of merit. It's like take out all the rocks and till that field very well, and then many of the seeds, which means many people, diverse people, then in that well-tilled environment will find ground and nurturance and be able to grow up. I had a moment in Bangkok, on the street corner in Bangkok, then seeing the small Bodhi tree, little wee tender Bodhi tree, coming up through the crack in the side of the road. And with it coming up, then it's making that crack wider, yes? Then I saw the city bus like over it, and it just missed to go over that Bodhi tree. Little baby. I saw myself at that time, that year, then maybe 2002 in Bangkok. Not many bhikkhunis in Thailand at that time, and how fragile, how precarious this situation was in a way. I thought from my growing up bigger, if my Bodhi tree grows up bigger, then if that can open the crack larger, such that others are also able to come through and grow up, then that would be good. So I thought, let me at least see what I can do to open up the cracks a little bit wider, and a few more can get through, and then this starts to become less like a rock wall, less like pavement, and more like, truly like a field that's able to nurture and support and give ground to what we think is the greatest merit in this world.
What's up, people? How are you doing? My name is Katali Kenya, and I will be bringing you the full part entertainment show in the 254. Talk about trending topics on the Industry 411.
When these people were doing the things they've been accused of, was I there?
We're bringing you the biggest, upcoming, and sizzling artists in East Africa coming through.
So then I got a call from Shafiweru. And he asked me, wewe, unataka kufanya radio ama ni nini?
Nikiwa solo artist, nilikuwa careful.
The biggest concerts and events going down in East Africa. as well as articulating youth issues that matter.
There's a lot of stress and strain that is associated with early parenthood.
This is the Full Pack Entertainment Show that you cannot afford to miss every Monday from 8 p.m. This is The Scrunch Show, and see you there.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Sasa ni bora zaidi, mwanzo mpya, mambo mapya. Msimu mwingine wa Boresha Kilimo unakuletea teknolojia ibuka, kilimo mseto, uongezaji thamani. Teknolojia dijitali ya mauzo inawezesha ufikiaji wa masoko. Soko moko yako, mahangaiko yako ya kufikia masoko yamefika kikomo, manake tunao Mkulima Young.
What Mkulima Young does is it connects farmers with the market.
Hii ni Boresha Kilimo kwa ushirikiano na Mkulima Young. Atafutaye hachoki na kichoka kesha pata. Kwa makala maalum ya kilimo, ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 kwenye kipindi ukipendacho Boresha Kilimo.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business blogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
The common law is still part of our law. And under common law, there is something called presumption of marriage.
Okay.
But a presumption of marriage is only declared by a court. You have to go to court and for the court to presume you to be married. So it means you will be married by a court case. So instead of waiting to be married by the court and giving the court the work,
Ukiwa na dukuduku la michezo, tunafungua sanduku la dukuduku kwa ufahamu zaidi. Kila danadana, mitimpo, mifiatuko na harakati zote ugani, sisi ni wako mwandani. Kukurukakara zote nyanjani, haziwezi kuangaziwa zaidi ya micharazo michezoni. Mimi mwanaspoti wako matata Peter Pinches Mwaora, ndakuwa na jopo lenye maarifa sufufu, nikufahamishe na nikuburudishe wewe shabiki shakiki, uhakiki na kindakindaki.
مثلا هكا أزل العراقي ما بان بلكي حالة انتحار بلكي مخو انتحار كربا.
This is Stuttgart, an industrial city in southwest Germany, a manufacturing hub. The city is home to companies that made Germany famous for its engineering excellence. People say it's the German way of living and thinking. We are here today to see how Germany has put that expertise into practice, not in technology, but in changing lives of a few.
We took only those that couldn't be helped there. If they were in a good condition or if their family structure was intact, of course, we said then stay there. We only took the most severe cases.
It's a chilly morning, and at the metro station we are waiting for Lamia Bashar. Lamia is a Yazidi girl whose life changed in August 2014, the day Islamic State militants reached Kocho village in the province of Sinjar.
What the fate of these Yazidi women and children have been, but to have ISIS actually admit...
Lamia had just finished middle school when Islamic State militants threatened to kill everyone unless they converted to Islam. Islamic State was targeting Yazidis in an effort to purge Iraq of all non-Islamic influences. Yazidis are a Kurdish-speaking religious minority with their own faith. We already know of Lamia. She is one of the group of Kocho girls who were taken captive by Islamic State. In August 2017, we produced a short feature on missing girls. With the help of watercolor paintings, our small story was named The Last Dance of Kocho and Its Missing Girls.
Escaping in March.
After seeing our story, Yazidi activist and humanitarian Mirza Dinai called us to say that he knew where the girls were. And he said Lamia was here in Germany. Dinai is something of a hero in these parts. We will come back to him, but now Lamia is here. My excitement at finding Lamia in person is so intense that I cannot focus my camera when she first appears with her brother Wad and friends from Sinjar. She's tiny, beautiful, and mature for her age. Life has tested her more than many of her peers.
The girls knew they were going to be sold as sex slaves.
Lamia just had face surgery. She's ready to talk to us, but only after a week of rest.
So total, how many girls you said? 1,100 women and children were...
We used the time to find other missing girls in southwest Germany. Mirza Dinai started a program called Airways Iraq, a humanitarian organization to bring Iraqi children and terror victims to Germany. With his help, the Home Ministry of German state of Baden-Württemberg brought more than 1,100 survivors to Germany in the hope of giving them a better life. Some of the IS victim girls from Kocho came to Germany through this program. During our 9-day journey, we meet many girls and families. Each story sounds more horrific than the one before. Salwa Khalaf was just 16 when she was captured by IS militants, also known as Daesh. She She remembers exactly.
أسيك شو عم بوم هتان هونجي يعني مبهورنا كريا إنه أفتش تشيبويا ومبهورنا تكر تشيبي وقتي رجعت سيهشت حتى ساعة هشتي سبيع زانة بستيب ومن زاني تشبويا شكينا حسياب ومشي مع إنه ساعة سي شرط سبيكر وساعة سي داعشاتن هابين بو دنيا قرم بو العراقي خلق السر خانيوان تنفي مسر خاني تنبستيبون ساعة سيف شيف أزبيجم مامي مو أو تلفونا بابي مكربون قود بون شرة إجبر أمل شنقال دابون بداية شر الشنقال نبو القندادة والقندادة دس فكر وان تلفونا بابي مكربو قود بون شر الفيدري داكو بابي مزاني بس نقود نما ساعة هشتي سبيع نوم راب ساعة هشتي سبيع كم بخو حسيان بتلفونا كيف بخو حسيان كوري خالي من تلفون كر قود كاهم شتكن أم تشكينا حسياب ويجي هكا أسراب مسرخو جا قصرا موسى دي طابق بوقلك أبلندبو أسراب موسى مال شارع نيري شارع تجي خلق بو خلق بيع بازدان هريكي بدرك إذا بازدا متشك في منتكر يعني شو ما الدنيا قاعدة منزاني أو أبدا نحياتها ما بو أو.
Only Salwa can define what is normal for her now. Salwa now lives in Freiburg, a beautiful city in southwest Germany. Seeing her confidence in her new life, one might think she has left the past behind, but when she talks about it, it is still so fresh.
بابي ما تقول ترى كذا ناتشن إيش برهقة جدلها هكا أمل كربن هروي ما قرن جاب لا أمل ما لا خدها بنو هو نحو جيمشن درقادي حتى تقريبا ساعد أزبيجم ده يانستا راسي نظام تشل بالضبط بس دا درنشي أمل مادة ونشتوي كيام دركتن أم تشون أم قشتنا جياوان أم بداية دركتن بيش مرقانا هي لان أم دركتن سيطرة داني بون نتي لان خالق دركها في مشكلة إجبر فيكي قال لك هاتنا قرتن يعني از خوص هي كم إجبر فيكي صارنا قرتن إجبر ريد قرتن ونتي لان دركتن تقول مني بكيدة شنو نظام شيء جا مجبور ونشون رياكا دور دربن ما تشون رياكا ديبر أم قشتنا جيا يعني قشتنا لوفا بيشي قال لك يا خبصة بو ترمبي لك الشارع إذا خراب أو بخنا خراب بس نزل جناركي ما بو أو شكي سنيمو وساكر بو ترمبي سكنا بو دا ترمبي ديني كاربين ترباس فن أم قشت نويدر وساكنين تالي رد أزبيشم داعش ونزان مسيبون بتني بياهاتهم سلاحوا أول دسيوان دابون قوتن قوداون.
The same day, IS militants took Salwa to Mosul. About 500 girls were gathered in a big hall. After 15 days, she finally understood what was going on. IS militants were coming to buy girls and take them. Almost at the same time, Salina Haji Bashar was being captured with other girls in the small village of Kocho. Salina knew everyone who went to Kocho's school.
معمول نبدأ بابي خمل نبدأ دي برايت خمل نبدأ دي كرمامت خوا كريت خالد خوا همول نبدأ دي تنقندي دي همو مديتين.
Salina and other girls were watching from the windows. They saw IS militants take several carloads of men to the pool.
وداعش سر حودي ساكني بو سلاحات خوا فهمو وبشتين ما حساس سلاحات ما هم أقرأ قوتين ما قزلامات كوجه.
Within moments, hundreds of brothers, fathers, uncles, husbands, and sons were gone. Khudir Hassan was one of them, down below. Khudir could see everything. One IS militant was filming with a camera, and the others were around.
Pishva yaki gote da sejara bankar go Allahu Akbar, hammal pira sejara go Allahu Akbar, udra uidisawe ka goti Allahu Akbar go armi, mukhat فرح تايل برده خست أو تلقى الواندان بسر مدك هاتن، تلقى كل منك هات جارا بري، تلقى كل منك هات بو بشتيكا خلاص كرين. بشتيكا تلقى ليدان هاتشي حسوا وجيهات بازاني بانا هيجي ساغا وأويكا قوتي دا أويكا أمر داي قوتي أرمي تات بوار وريكا ديل ساري ويدا ودهار ويجيل من دا بشتيكا چغاكيش باما دور كتن ويتشوبانا فاني ركي قمسا لكي رساسي المبو go yaki gota wi go hay رساسي go نامريا go ساغا نظام مخالفان نزات شلوس ديتم go ساغا. جدور بتلقاك بردامه يعني انها تراسري مو بردامه جدور تقريبا مسافه 5 كيلومتر بردامه وصل بشتاستي مفچرخي بس نگهشته هستی بس تیره چرخی درکت تدیدن نما تلقا مخاهر نلوان جوان کزی مریمه نهات بامه.
While Khudair was still figuring out that he was alive and wondering how to escape, the girls at the nearby school were terrified, not knowing what was going to happen to them. IS militants picked all the girls who did not have children and took them to a park.
هم سادو هناك كاتك داري خسنا حديقة دربة إد بيزارو قلتنا بنتزوجينا داري خسناش دربة هتا ساعد دهي بشيبل نفوي حديقي دابون وباس عنينا باسيد مازن النفرة ددوجي عنينا مكرني دا برنا موسل كاتشك برن كنا مالا موسل دا سيتا بقى مازن بو برن كرني دا هنا كاتشك دي ديزي دي دابو أو جو ما قلت شلون أم كنا بالدا كو وسا كو تين شيخي وان أميري وان تياني ما كو ما تفروشيا هرياكو يا تفروشيا ياكو هرياكي ياكي دي ده هدي أبيو.
Salwa was captured with a different group from Salina. Each girl had her own fate.
أم سيكة تقول أم أنينا بعاج أم بقيرانا بعاج يعني بشتي إش بيصد كتشكي تقريبا صد كتشكما يديها مكرين شخورا أمو برين الويدر يمروشا كمان ودي ساعات ديان كتشكا بكرنو أو يكال باما بو جيلان باتشس خلقات العزير بو اشترساخو كشت الباما رايد دستيخو قد كرن جيلان مقابلي من نارو نشتيبو وبري جيلان جي خرابي مقوت هفالاخو مقوت جيلان طبيعية هفالا مقوت أم هموت وسانا قوي كيش ما هاجي خلينا قوي يعني في حالي دا كيش ما هاجي خو هيا.
Salwa learned that Jilan's sisters had an idea that she could commit suicide, but they didn't stop her.
زبيجم يعني نحلبو ما بخو يعني قالك جارة من محاولة كر أسخبو كشم يعني لهنك ظروف هذا بس كشتنا حلا هكاش هكا خشكت ويقودبان اشبر فيكي جيلان شي حمامي دامنتي لا خوب كشي أو لحظة كش اتهرب سحمة ريبو وقت جيلان خو كشتي بشتي جيلان قالك يديجي محاولة كرن الباما انهيار الباما تشيبو يعني اشتر ام تعبين بانصدروشا هموكي بس كابوس بو ترس دلما همو قاعدة بو كان قيدوراك هشمت هرجار تاتن هناك تكرين وهرجارك قاعدة كدبان هريكي خشكا كوبي بربون هريكي شي هفالا كوبي بربون والنزاني كان قيدورا وانا ام همو اللي بيا دورا خبون قالك جارة أم التحبين ما تقولك ها خزيبين مش خرابة بن بس مش في حالي خلاص كن أم التحبين منافين بتربي تشتي ببينن ما بدس هيك تقرتن بدس وزاد السي ماشي خود تذكرن الدارة المدار الدارة دس ماشي خود تذكرن بورامات كيشان يا بشتي جيلان هنا جدي محاولة كنو خبوكوشن
This is another Jilan. She's 16 now, so she was a child when she was captured 4 years back. Jilan speaks out for probably the first time, and her story is horrific. But for that, we will have to reach Tübingen, a university town in south of Germany. By this time, Lamia is also ready to talk. Lamia is Salina's sister. They live in the same complex. While Salina is talking to Dakhil, I have a chance to visit Lamia's room and see her picture gallery.
Sakharov.
I do not speak Kurdish, but Lamia makes things clear.
Das ist in Italien. Das ist Vater.
Okay.
Bruder. Brother.
Okay. Who?
Kadri.
Oh, girl Kadri.
Und Almas.
So where is Kadri?
Here.
Okay, she's in Germany now?
No, das ist in Bom.
Oh, Bom, she died?
Yes.
Oh.
Und Almas.
Oh, Almas.
Yes.
She was with you, right?
Yes.
She died?
Yes.
Okay.
Und Vater.
Mother, yeah.
Und Mother.
Where is your mother here?
Me.
Wait. Where is she?
Yes.
Kenya?
Yes.
Not yet back?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Sister. Salina.
Oh, Salina, yeah.
Wahid.
Ah.
Yes. Und das ist mein Freund.
Okay.
Yes. Und das ist ich.
You?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Und das ist she.
Who?
Ich.
Oh, you?
Yes.
Alright. Okay.
Das ist Katrin.
Kadri, okay.
Und das ist Almas.
Almas.
Yes. Und das ist mein Haus.
Oh, in Rukocho?
Yes. Das ist Dalal. Und das ist Samia. Und das ist Hamdia. Und das ist ich.
Meanwhile, Salina is telling my colleague Dakhil Shamu how she tried to stop the militants from taking Lamia away from her.
Amman, am penju haft shnev garten. Azulam yabunu hado khushkin ma avinu navinu kashmama mabun. Kun jedibu ambaran karna basa ke saat penji sabahe shmugusil ambaran faruna suri. Ambarna raqai. O zlami hakalam ya akhtar kri kwas tana akhtarna ka كوستا فيراناب از هشتم الوردو كلق محاولة بيكريام وشوم البيو رالي نابو بره لام ياجي نفس عمد کرو كوس ناچم يا خوشكا خرابي پوري کرتنو کرنا ترام بيلو داري کرتن.
Salina stayed at the same place for 2 days. One evening at 8 p.m., when she was alone at home, she decided to run away.
از هاتشوم دورنيف ساعتش مالي دور كتم كان ما مالا كده كاميرا بدري حوشي بابو از ديبو چهار بنا مال از ديبو زاني زب كي فرحي دا چوي ما هاتن الدري مال كده ما مال كي قيامي تا دنيا وي تعديل ماكن از دامي قولني دا قوال باما از برم رابونا برم ديسا كان ما مالا كديدا ديسا وي أبو أحمدي از سه روزال وی مالی دبون کچکا کا جش کندیم نتی دبون آوی ناری باندو تنهایی جل برداشت نهاتی از او 4 روزال وی مالی دبون و دیس عملوی ساعت 8 صبحی ما باز ده حرازی بردیری بو و هر دو عیالی دوان نفستی بو کان نپی مادا اب سلاحه کان نپی مادا و کرنا قوتا خود کرنا پی ما باز دم نساکنین ما شکایت خواه آویتن ما گورا آویتن دستمانگ ما آویتن ما خواه همو تشتی راش کربو ما بعدم چون الجسر کی ساکنی تلقا سر مرا بردانم نساکنی ما خو هر دو خال جسر وار کرد ام چون لاله جسری دیوا در کتر لن گودست و رو و وچه ما همو شکست و خراب و خوین بو ام چون آله دی جسر و در کتن.
IS militants were watching them. They were captured again and put in jail for 9 days in Qaim.
ياكي خليجي سعودي بو قال لك تعدب هبالا مكر زيادة تعدل ويدريدا بيكر قال لك يعني اغتصاب كرو برحمة مهدومة لنهاش ليدان لاشي وهمو كرا كيبال هشين كر قال لك تعدب بيكر وي او داستو لنكرويش تاندبو بربو حمامي قال لك تعدب بيكر وي محاولات كربال خوادا بس جار بينا بويدا شداندو رابويدا وتعدا جي بيكر وبشتهن جي آني مچو آني مجلق لي كرم.
Some fruit kicking. Oh my God. So much. Is Dolma?
Yes.
Lamia was captured in the same school at Kocho. She said one militant told her that IS militants had killed all the men of the village, and from now onwards, the girls were sabya, sex slaves in English, and they would be sold to other men in Syria. The bus journey to Mosul gave them a hint of what was coming.
الباسي دا داعش تحرشي ما تبقى بورا ما قلت بقول كلمة قلت عشد باوان باسا نبا شنقال هذا موصل تحرشي ما يعني كذا زاني شغلانة يسورة تقرتنش مرة هرك سري رات كرسورة تقرتنا دباسكم هالباسا كده سيجا كان فيدكو بس بهذه بيش خارم مو فيدكو يعني وكا تشتري باسكي هكا تبقى بيني ده بيجي أبا خانجة زي بيش خارم مو ساعد كده
وبين السوري ونعمل وانشان يعني حمو خوارتون
هناك شنه سالي بقرا حتى اتسي سالي افهم كاتشكي هم كاتشكي جيهلكم هم ام ساعات دوغا هشتن ساعات سي هاتن go هناك هاتنا ويل واجبا ان نو كاتشكاني رنا واجبا ما ايت هناك داعش سعودي كنت جزائري هاتن كاتشكا كاجكون ديما واوشي حملي سالا كيش ممكن تربو ياكي شواني سعودي كو سيفش خرب ام برند روجا وردابون إبارة بري هات كو هني دينه خواهيرينن مقولي مقول هكذا أمي دينه خواهيرينن بس بشرط هكذا هون يعني ما اختصار ناكن كهون دست قام ناكن أم ما قبولا دينه خواهيرين
يعني شو مثلا بعد تيجي الجماعة يعني تفهم الجماعة
طبعا تجيب زحمة الراسته هو المهاتو وشو أويم أو بو شمرا يعني زانم هكاوي فاقر شمرا نقلا كيف زحمة بس شمرا بزحمة يعني داكو بابين مسبرز أسانم كافانا قرين داكو بابين مشويكي أو شمرا بزحمة ريكسر خاصة داكا المال يعني دقيقة كيزش داكا خوقود ناد بمشويكي أو قالا شمرا بزحمة
وجارة تاريخ داكا خوديتي
أزبري داكا ماني موي محدي بس داكا مجل بي مانين جا آنينس جمل بارونش جمل باوي داسي منوي التيك دابو من البريك دا درونش تيبون داعشات كتا غرفة متيدا كتا نيفتا أس قدنغو كامي في ملي مكرتن مراغن داكا مكو كنا چندي خواه فيديو كوا كتشكوكا كو مبنو مجيس البار داكا خضرونش تمكو سناي بس ددو هاتن بداكا مكرتن وياكي بورام قرزل بي خو جرجرانم هتاش درفجي هتا اسناني مش درفو داكام برن دري غرفي نهشتن داكام شور دركبي دري غرفي اللي قافل كر جاكا دي مناتي
Lamia tried to escape 4 times, and each time they got her, they sold her. One day, she cut her veins with a piece of broken window.
كم سر خراكر زل المبا تختورا كي مالمالا تختورا كي إيم غربيبو وي دستوين من لفافو أو كربونو درمانو أو كربو وي سعودي أزوخش كام برنش غين دروجة يعني أم اختصاب كرنو ولي دان قلق المدى أم آنين القاعدة آنينو وكتشكا قاديش خرابر لما تقولي هرو أم آنينا يعني تشلا هفتشان كرينو فروتني ماتكن كواف أفهون سراعنا كحلال الماكو كما ديمي جانا الروجي مدي كاتشكن بين جاراتاتنا فروتن الروجي دا بين جاراتاتنا فروتن وجنيت هكا فيتاليا جنيت هكا چار زاروت وان بنش داكا وان تاني نبتني زارو هركت دانا ياكي كركت برنامج عسكرا تدريبت كرن.
The explosion left Lamia blind in her right eye.
Lamia's little brother Wad stays glued to his sister while we interview her and is eager to watch our filming. At the age of 7, Wad was captured too and sent to a training camp.
وتجبر بونو وتبيت القمارو بون قالك سلاح بيدا بونو تجبر بون رهانة تجبر بون داعشي بيس بو هكا يقرانا ببا بدارا الراد بوني دا بزورا الراد كرن زارو اشتاكد وان قلت كرن عم تحلم معنا السلاح قومو دا هنا داكو بابي تخبو جنو
شو السلاح بوجد؟
جيسي بو ورور بو دوشكا بو بيكيسي بو وانس حلمان تقولي في إقسامي واكيشن وندي كندا وفيكيشنو ساجو كنا وتلاقي خسارة ديتنا ونبارد ساكر مزاجور كندا بقول
at Rotam, where a few boys live who return from the IS training camps. While we wait for the boys to come back from the school, we record the blank faces of the kids who pass, saying everything about the impact of their experiences on their lives. And then we meet the first smiling face, Zina Abbas. But there is a reason why she is smiling. One of her sisters, Hina, was rescued from IS captivity just 2 days back.
وخدي بك إزدي هموبين وعمري مكبا أدوانسيدا وسكالا كيفو خلاص.
Go call your friends.
As soon as boys return, we sit down with Raghib.
ساعت شارسي سباهيم رادبون ما نميجت كر دراني من نفست ما قرآن ونميجا خوات كر ومن نفستن ساعت هاشتم رادبون.
IS militants had formed an army of kids, Ashbal al-Khilafa, also known as Cubs of the Caliphate.
ما خوارو ما تدريبت كر حتى ساعت هفت شش اي شيف ديسا من نفستن حتى ساعت شاريس بهم دوش مد ازديم بسلمان بون ما حارزي اخوات كر اصلاحي بود گوتن گو هنه صلاحي واكن چلو زان واكن چلو بگرين وكا گو هكن ها انشنا شيرو في شكل وخلاص بون عتاتي وخلاص بون او حزامي كفوات كرن گو چو دگما داوسن ونه استشهد بن گو هنه چنا جناتي.
Raghib says that after his release from captivity, he does not want to think about Islamic State or what happened to him. He wants to forget the Quran. When we meet Bazi a few hours later outside her college, she looks very confident. We already had spoken to her about our last film. Now, we want to see her school.
But I think that you have to speak with.
And we want to hear about an American IS militant that Bazi had mentioned to us.
أو أمريكي أبو عبد الله الأمريكي بنافي إيفارك هاد كتامكو هيش أم همولوي داري دبون إيفارك كتامكو وسا برسش مكر كتامكو حمريتا ديسا چندو كتام فكوريتا يو وسا مرا بايف مگوته مدیسام برجیکر مگوته هنی چلوک نشمام همو آنی نوی داری وسا گما هن همو آنی نوی داری کما بفروشن از و فروش ما خلق حوالت خو الوی داری الحلبی بس ناوی دوان گوتن گو يعني ناوی که جیت گو کار خو بکز سبهی و ساعت هفتن تبم ودهات ندبرن همو برن غير منو وندان نمالوي داری ده الوی مالی ده وكوري براي مني بمرابو مقربو كوري خوا مقطعان أساسا وجمو فكوري مني بمرايا بشتي سي چار روجا إيوارا كي حرزيوي هاد باني مقر قطع موارجة كي مقوتي سنايم تاتشمنا قطع موارا أبو عبد الله الأمريكي باني تاتك لازم تبي أبا بجد قدني دا الشيخ قلت أزيبيشنم وقت تاجي مهفاني دوي مستمر هابون ما خوارن جرا چيت كر وما جل كي دويت شوشتن وقت مهوانا جوي هاد باما چاو تشتو جرا چيت كر.
One day, Abdullah Ameriki, Bazi, and her nephew were alone in the house. Bazi saw that Abdullah Ameriki was talking to his family via Skype. Bazi asked him why. Abdullah Ameriki told her that in the US he was a teacher, but he had come to Syria for a visit and found friends. they convinced him that Islam was the right religion.
ما أفترس شيء كرم قلت دام قلت يعني هيالاتنا بجتك هات شمات تشوي ويدري شمات تناعي وصا كون قلت أم قفان ترساش ممك فالوي مالا من تيدا غرفة كما سنبو وكهولا كيبو ميزا كما سنتيدا بخاري تاو تيدا دادانين إذا موصل شباكر لينيري اترسم عندود كنت إذا هوني تشنا فيدري هوني وساك نوساك.
After a few days, Abdullah Ameriki called Bazi to his room and told her that he was going to marry her.
أسوساس قريامو مقدي مقو قري مهاي وتشتي وسات شينا أبي قد كتاك نامني قد أفيد ما آنينا فيدري اتكالباما هامو وزاوجن قد غير بحاملة وكرنا يعني متشتكي بيمكن دورد بوسعة يانزة تشتكي وصا قلتم لازم تشوخوا بشويز بسورة كرما حمامي دا وقلتم قا مخا خلاص كر قلتم ورا غرفة مدا هات برما غرفي دا قلت بازا بحاملة ما كوسا بشتكي قلت بحاملة كرنا مفيرا بزوجن مو قلت إذا بحاملة ما قلت دي تمام أزي الصباح أزي تم بعد دكتور بشتي دسي روجا قلتم قلت الدرواتكي وهات بزورة دي ساس برما غرفي دا وتشتب مكرن
يعني باش اشتغل يعني خرابة يعني تبي عجز بوقت بسيارتك
ناول البام بخوي يعني وقت از بيجم وقت از چنده بيجمو دارين ماس مرتاح ترد بم يعني هركا وكل سكتابي وهردي مسبيت فكرم بس وقت از بيجم وقت اشتكيز دار تيخم باش ترش مرة.
One day, Bazi said, when Abu Abdullah al-Ameriki was not at their home, she and her nephew went out after telling a guard they needed medicine for the boy.
am دركات الشمال am تشون بنف حلب ده نف بيجير ده مال درياقي ده هناك هات المفكر وكم مقركي وانبو وقت وان داري فكري وساق يعني ما وصادتين داعشكي هات داري فكر الما ما مقود دامكو موسام بعربي مقود دامكو كهاقودينا جناك الفيدرية وصا الجنب حالة بحالو أو تنيري عمليت كارين قلت ماكو قلنا أقول تشتكي وصال فرنينا قوس نزانم أم تشون مال داريا كي ديدا جنكا كي هاد داري فكر نقلك يا مازن بدور حملي استهزال بون ما خود داخلي وان كر ما قلت ماكو قوزي تلفونا أحيالي خواك ما سي بشميدا أصلامي خوا قوزي بشميدا وين وچلو مساعدة وقنو وداريخ نجبر زلامي ويو أوي أمريكي هاتن مبرن قوتن قوي وبازدا وصا أوي أمريكي هاتن برن راب وما حتى كاري راب وما وبراسي مش مبر دور أسبوعكي وبشتهن يعني مقلك محاولك روختد هاتا مال يعني متشولن جاي ماجد كرمت قد بس توي بينيا بامه ومقلت وتاتش لو كريجو هردي متقول نايل بامنا وصا بشتي أسبوعكي آني جارك دي إيفاركي هاد دور ساعدنا كنت هكا تشتكش ورب في أزيتش أميتشنا حربي أميتشنا أكوباني حربي دور دهوني في أمكتني دا ما داري خراكر چاكو جاكيوان ما داري شكينا دو ما خراكر وما وصا غير دابر حتى سبهي بوا ساعد هاشتي سبهي مش مال دار كتن دي ساما جل كد راشو خواكرنو مش مال دار كتن ما تشو جاكي تلفون أبو بدرا بدان ما تشو قوتي دا وما تلفون كر ما تلفون عمرو فاكي خواكرو وعنوان دا هنا كديترو وعن هاتن زلامكي هاتن برنا أم على خو أم خلاص
Even after 4 years, Bazi still goes to see a psychologist every week.
The trauma is not over. If we about the psychiatric diagnosis, it's called post-traumatic stress disorder, which means post is over.
But in the case of Yazidis, we have a mixture of historical trauma, collective trauma, and still the trauma exists because the future of the Yazidis in Iraq is not clear, whether they will survive or not survive.
So ähnlich wie Rauch, auch Rauch sind kleine Partikel.
Seeing Bazi studying at her school is like a ray of hope. Bazi thinks her dreams still may come true. Bazi's German professor Marcus Geckler says that Yazidi immigrants send a message about the ongoing debate over immigration in the country.
For Germany, it's a real win to have people like them in our country. Big gain for us. There is a new radical party was created, AfD, and there are a lot of people who now are against foreigners, and there is a discussion about that. And I also only can say people like these three people, they are really, they are kind of publicity and advertisement for foreigners that come to Germany and want to integrate and want to do the best for everybody.
Bazi's nephew, her brother's son, whom she pretended to be her own son, has grown up now. His name is Evan. Bazi's four brothers, along with Evan's father, were killed by IS militants on the day Bazi was kidnapped. And Bazi's mother, before being taken away, handed Evan over to Bazi. Still today, no one knows where Bazi's mother is. Salwa Khalaf strongly believes that if the girls were more educated and had more rights then, this all wouldn't have happened to them.
صدي بيستش ما نتشونا مدرسة أم نتشوفوا المدرسة أصلا ما تشكش دنياي نديد وما تشك فيهم نقربوا بخيل نزاني هتاب كي درجة تاب درجة ما الفحص تاخد كر ما وصل ما بهور إنه أمي وصل مرن يعني ما فهم نذكر إنه يكنك عارف وصل بكوشة يعني تاب تشتي ما فهم نقربوا هتاب بدرجة أم تجاهل بون يعني شدل بس نسان وقتك ما ببيني أزبجم أزجاهلم بلكي فهمنا كيش مرت شكلي مصنعك إنسانك بشي أزي جاهلم نش براك أمد فيها أم جاهل مجد فيها أم دنياي ببينين مجد فيها أم تشنا مدرسة أم حياتي في مكان مجد فيها في مستقبلي ما هبي بس شبرت ما أم كتشكبونها موتش هاتا سرير ما شبرت ما أم لميربون شبرت ما أم شنبون هكا أم شنبان نيفش بان هكا حقي إجني هبا الجي أم تدا مازن بوي نيفش في تشتيج هنا تبو أبسط شي قالك شنو هتقول كا أم دركبن ميراد قول ناين أم سلام من حيبا أم برافن هتاب في درجة العراقي داس باورناكم تنجني العراقي همو كي صدجنها بي ترمبيل آجود بي المالام دا يكيني زاني ترمبيل شنو كيني زاني ترمبيل باجوني بس باورناكم مالت ازدياد شنقالي دا تشارجن زاني ترمبيل باجوني نبو افتشتني في مدى هكا زاني بان ترمبيل باجوني بلكي وان جناخو خلاص كربا بلا مير ما بان بلا مادام او خد بين المير مادام او بين الزلام لازم أم نرفن أم شربتن أو بلاوان شركر بعنا هم وساب سري ما عندنا.
Salwa was in captivity for 8 months. Towards the end, she was kept with an Iraqi family from Baj. Then they held her in Mosul for 4 months.
رسالة بابي خشانت ردمنا دا شبر باورنا كرازو. شار هيفا بابي موان نزاني إنه إذا صاغ مش بردعش قد هو هفاليت موان سلوا خو كشتي بشتوي كم مش رسالة ككور مامي خشان مقولي تلفونا رسالة شبابي خورت شينو مردي منادا تكاري بيجيتي بيجو شنو ويقوتا بابي مي وشنو بابي مردي مدا روجا كي أسر كتم تاكسي أس شو ما ويدري تلفونا بابي خوكر وموجود دي أس فلان دري ما أسكارم خو خلاص كم بس عنوانك يبدأ دليلك يبدأ رأيك يبدأ أس خو خلاص كم أسكارم خو خلاص مسكارم درك تني بس إنسان كده شو مو أول مو داعش بود بجا هبالك بابي مي الويدري ده مابو عنوانك دامي يا روجك أس شو ما هو مالي أسبوع كل باون بشتوي كيس تزيد ركتهم ثاني تشتي هرب زحمة البرمي الفي كده وقت ميرك تشكي بقى يعني تشكي عادية بيجن ميرا وفي تشتي تكبس وقت جنك سر ميري خو قبول بقى زبينم تشكي قرفت نسان اشتلس نسان بو صفينة مس نسان بشكلي بيجن بس البيم تشكي يقلكي حقيرة تشكي يقلكي في وقت جنك السر ميري خو عفوا جنك قبول بك ميروي تشكي وصابك ومشكلات شي مال بعد عشتيتي جنت وان تشجعها من السيرفي تشتي جبرت از بيجم جن ديم لازمه دنياي ببيني لازمه بخوندي لازمه بيشتا تشبر وان حكم سر عقلي جناكر بو او تفكرين جن داعشت قوتنا جنت خود قوتن جناتنا بهشتي جن المرأة عورة أو تبيجن المرأة عورة جنات بهشتي بس ميرتش بهشتي بجا وقت الفيدن يايدا جنك سمع طاعة يعني بجا ميري خوكر و تشتي بيقوتنا فذان الويدن يايدا أو يطلبها جناخوك يعني بخيلينا وكي يكتشي دولتك وطلبيتك بورقة أو بيجي بلا جنان بيبام أو ساعات فاكرين إنه بشتي داعش وان ازدياوان تكوشي كافرين شبرويكي ويتشي بهشتي او ميرويتشي بهشتي وقتي تشو بهشتي هكا جناوي ابدليوي بي ويبيجي تكام مش ناخد في البهشتي دلبان يا شبر فيكي هكا اسلام تشو قود با جنيت نفذانت بلي سريوان شي تكرنو هر او تراديبون في سبيل الدنيا دي هكا الدنيا هكا دي هبي تشنا بهشتي 24 ساعة هم قرآن تخوندي هنا كاجي بين جارة وشش جارة خلاص كرهم كاسر دلساني وقتي تقول باي ورده هروي أو كديني قود با آيات كديني قود ما نشترى يعني هم تشتل ديني وان ديني بيسي بو سر ديني الطبق عندن بس فا نهوب نظرة منا وي وقتي اشدل اسلام همو كرهانت واسلام همو البرجابي مرشبو وقالك جارة تهديدات كشتني وان دانم قالك جارة السلاح السعودي بمبان بشكل طبيعي اصلا قالك جارة وقتنا هذا هي شو عندرني خصني بسلاحات يصير فريق دات يعني شبر البان بشكل عادي مسافر سليمة دات ثاني بقول بيجن امي مسلم بالمقود طبعا كابيجن مش برتشي شكي يعني هتان هو اف شاربين شايفن وقتي شاربين شايفون نزل دستيوان ده ومجو هتان هو من نقطة قنجل ديني وده نديتيا هتا اسبيجم اسي مسلم هكذا هو صد جاري بيجمعوا اسا مسلم اللي خد اسمها مسلم شبر هكا اف اسلام من نافي بس كشتن بو اغتصاب بو زارو داك شيء قتلت كرن تشك يعني تشكي باش سيدا نديت وجدلن وقتي يعني هكا كي إنساني برسا إسلام جب إيش مكربا من بيظاهرة جبرتلي الدنيا هيدا السرعة قود بعمني قود بعد الشهري بيستري الدنيا هيدا بس بشتي أس خلاص بشتي أس هات مدركة مش عراقي ومخلقتي مديد نوسع نوكا قود نامي مثلا هكا أزل عراقي ما بان بلكي حالة انتحار بلكي من خو انتحار كربا راستي البامي الخلالة بان هرجع صالادة أسبيشم مساعداها من نصري زيارة هاتي كرن برنامج بو يعني نش زيارة يعني زيارة بشكل عام وش ناجيات بشكل خاص أسيق بو روجك دنياي دنا خونا بوزش عراقي دركم بريح دافع أو بخو حياتهم الويدري قلقة نتشتق بو حياتهم الوري أبد يعني از شما مدرسة اوكي يعني بيتالي مدرسة او هابون بس وكو ديت شكل حياتها مدن ابو يعني از شما مدرسة ساتا روجاد المال ده مش مال درنت كتم البر في الماد بون بر تلفزيوني بون يعني وقت ما حياتها خلقي التلفزيوني وان ديت ما بهور نذكر حقيقتها ام تفكرين انه بس في خياله دلي ما مرتاح بو يعني نزعنم بلكي جبرت شما موسى مازن بلكي جبرت شما ما تشندي بو احلامك ما تكتكوك بو نقلكي يعني راست ازا كتكوك بو نقلكي بس ازانم ايش من ماستر شي خوني توان هرت وقعيت مبون يعني هركش كك العراقي ده خونا ويا هرا مستري يكي بدلي خببه
On weekdays, Salva changes trains to go to her school. And on weekends, she works.
أصل مطعمك شغل مطعمك هندية شغلي خدمة الزبائن وقتي يكبي مطعمي وخامي شي تقدمين وفام شغلك قالك يا خوشا كيفهم قالك تيس في مروفة عرب شغل عين خلكي ببين معو
نادية أفكار لنا.
When Lamia tells us about her escape, it sounds like a perfect plan that went wrong. She started from her last owner's house, the doctor in Havija. The plan was to run away in the dark.
يفاري بشيف ساعات هفتي يفاري كتن جوارن محاربة جوارن بقهنا مامي الفلان داري اللي فيها وابن أمرابون ما جلكي تراش الخاقرني داعش هداب آلماس مرابو خيمارو عباوا ولي كرن و أمتشون قشينا باراني بو وأرتهمو حري بو بزورة زلامن ماشيا أمتشون حتى هرج بينا كما بينا خدر داني وقدوم ماشيان حتى ساعات شاري سبهي أمن ماشيان مهرب ديمير بيشيان مابو سي مهربون ياكل بيشيان مابو تدول باش بونشبر نفاحا وجاو كاركو قلق عبون تدان شان ديبون قوب بساكنن أخوا بقنا ريسي موكودون ماشيان قوب بساهرك شوية كل بياكي ورن قجا وقلنجي خالد وصايب مداباتشن جشبر عبوها هرسي مهرب چونا بيشيه وكاترين بو وأزبون والمازل دي رخيم بو تسويرين مدابو وعايديني هم البيش مارو بابجا باران الدنيا حري بو وشيب بو كاتبين ازبهر كلنجي قلنا الدوساري آبين تجاو إيدي كالوية وقوانا مابتا تقي أس كبار كنا قاعدة شوقات كس كتا بيشبري جابين مدا ودرا حبيدي من الدنياش بنينا دي مقرا قوتينيش برجابو تين قالا كتشاوتين مقرا قوتيني ومباني كاترين الماس هردو كاكر كاترين جاكي كو هاي نكا وانا قانجبو وجاكا دي دنگشيكش هردوان نهات محسام هربان كري يعني صاحبهم بس جابين متشوبونو شي مهاد ببرين كن وعائلة دي قو مهرب قدام قو بس بقى قوتيني قوتين ها قوتا عشكرتي بيما بسي ترنادو بشما وعائلة قو على متشن قو مي مهربا قوتي قو بخورا ببن قو مناويرين درباس بنشبر پیش مرگا مادگرن قو في بخورا قاي هنت گهينا كردستان وعائلة قوم ألم نابن قومي بفهمنا قبحات قومي تشنش ترسي داعش كنا قجا بي مهارب قوتي قو سناهلم هنشن قو يهون في بقرة بقهينا أسرا قو سناهلم قو فاساقا بلكي بنو بقرة قهين أبداستي مقرد مقري وقرو ومير قو قري خو أبداستي مقرد هتا إسلامي قندي من كشتن وبابو براين من شيد لنا أخوان
Lamia's life has never been the same again. I now understand what she was trying to tell me about Catherine and Almas while showing her picture gallery.
Yes.
Just 12, when and she was kidnapped. Jilan and her friend were taken to a big house. Then, two men came to them.
एक يجيز برمسيري وإكل بنيمة هبالام برطابق بنيمة وأسبر مطابق السريع ما قلت هنا تشكينا قومي وعلمين الدين ما قلت غامنينا أم الورمان سعدان زي الشيبي وسا هاتنا بامام تقول لازم أم بورا وكاقولي أم شخورا ببن هاتاهم بالسلمان تبن أم قالك يجري ما كرقوتيني فيد النبو قالك المدان جي من نزاني ويتشبنا عمري مدان زصال ومن تشتي فيهم نذكر وخد ترام الميدان وقالك الميدان وشغل أخو كرجي وقاقولي يكي صار شيء صالبو من قاعد يستشكلني في لاباجي البروغرام. أريما جيغاغوت ويجوغو وهانكيا وهاب سري ويجي كربون شوف سري مكرن أزل باها بالا خمام هتاني فرول وماليدا دورا هردوك هاتن هركش مالطالن بيلا كيكرن أز برما نف عائلة خدا أسبوع كيوها أز نف عائلة تمام النف عائلة جيدات هات هاقل في بايتي وغاقوتي الشغل أخو بكت هاتا بام ديار عائلة هنية
عائلة وان زاني
أري هما زانية
يعني تليوان ولا
أري باب تليوان بتشتغلون قوتي جلاوي تشتغلون تقول من توقي قيجابيني وها بس يساعدك ذاك ويجي ديار جابي أسبوع سي تقابي تريد هذا بامه تشتغلنا قوته أري لا لا بس كم ديتي ناسكا كلك أس كلك شيء بنا نفهم هردين برشافي من خونا كلك يدبينهم والفرجي كلك محاولة عند شو بعد تختارها بس في دينا
وقت تبحثك شو سريتها عطيا مش كي بينا تفراد باب عشتري عن
خراب ترد فيها
أنا تنها إيش رجعني يعني
نزعل
بس بداية مجرد
عادية ما هرش بيرنا كم هتعتني
أجر رجعك محكمك هذا وأوي شيخ أي المحكمة بالسكنين تحازم تبتشي مع الشهادة بدي بيجي راسته أفزل أمامه
أري حاضر ما هكا محكمة بس شهادة بدأ مزبيج في أفشل مكر وجزائي بدن هنا وتشتويش مبرية أكيد نوبة نهدى بها
وجزائي تشيدي
Africa, we are a software company based out of Nairobi, Kenya, and we build customer-centric solutions that helps businesses communicate effectively with their customers. So the first solution that we offer is a VoIP solution. So the VoIP solution is basically a call center that allows you to push up to between 1,000 to 1,000,000 concurrent calls at a go. So that's either if people are calling you in or whether you're calling people out. The advantage that we've been able to also see with this is people can work remotely. So if, for example, you're in Nairobi and you're managing a team in Mombasa or in Kisumu, then you have full access.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pipopa si vuguvugu. Pipopa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Sasa ni bora zaidi, mwanzo mpya, mambo mapya. Msimu mwingine wa Boresha Kilimo unakuletea teknolojia ibuka, kilimo mseto, uongezaji thamani. Teknolojia dijitali ya mauzo inawezesha ufikiaji wa masoko. Soko moko yako, mahangaiko yako ya kufikia masoko yamefika kikomo, manake tunao Mkulima Yangu.
What Mkulima Yangu does is it connects farmers with the market.
Hii ni Boresha Kilimo kwa ushirikiano na Mkulima Yangu. Atafutaye hachoki na kichoka kesha pata. Kwa makala maalum ya kilimo, ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 kwenye kipindi ukipendacho Boresha Kilimo.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business laws, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
Look at those herons. No, these are not herons. Those are hawks. And then all these are hawks, and then that's a heron flying back. They are going back to their nest. Some in Kikuyu, some I don't know where. This tree is the landmark of Kikuyu town. It's a mogumo tree, which is traditionally a sacred tree among our people, the Kikuyus. It is a very important tree that filters air. is also connected to Ondire wetland because we have some birds. In the morning hours, they fly to Ondire, and then in the evening, this is where they have their nest. The most important natural indicator of a healthy wetland is the presence of birds. I am very passionate about wetlands because they are the kidneys of our world, the life support system. Jason, ile ni kala iko kwa mabati. In most parts of Africa, especially here in Kenya, many people see wetlands as wastelands that they have no value. But they forget that wetlands sequesters 30% of the atmospheric carbon. Ondire wetland covers a circumference of 3.5 kilometers. It's the biggest highland bog we have in the Republic of Kenya. It is the source of the biggest river basin we have, which is the Athi River Basin. The wetland is a very important source of water for the residents here in this area. When we began this journey in 2016, this place, nobody really wanted to look at it. If you needed to be told about a place that was fully contaminated, you only needed to look at Ondire wetland. I started by doing a lot of tree planting around our community, having groups that I worked with, especially youth groups and church groups, whereby we really planted a lot of trees. What we've done over time is that we have planted these bamboos. Their roots help in retaining soil and thus prevent soil erosion. So you see, this is how this river looks like here. When we began the work in 2016, it had dried up completely. You see, now it is completely clean.
He was talking of doing this work of trying to clean the Ondire bog. Surely I thought it was impossible. Definitely it would be very difficult. I knew he didn't have maybe even the resources to do some little things that he was required to do. We also do medicinal plants. This is the Mudhega tree, which is an important asset in Kikuyu community. This is what we used to drink with our soup.
Those people who are harvesting fodder from here could burn the whole place during the dry season so that fresh vegetation could grow. And what we did was to make sure that we stopped them because they tampered with the natural environment.
Other people had come here saying they will clean Ondire, and then they just disappeared. I thought he was one of them. But thank God, today I stand here very proud of him because it has definitely changed. The biggest challenge that I have faced has been getting to convince people about the importance of this wetland. And in awareness creation is whereby you convert people from polluters to conservers. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. How I bring them up, how I teach them.
And I think that is my greatest occupation in life. That is really what matters to me most. We wanted these children to have their own space where they can be able to enjoy themselves and enjoy growing up. Because part of what one carries with him throughout his life is the childhood memories. Niä ta rĩu campaign yakwa ndĩmĩkaga o mũthenya na nĩ ũĩ nona rĩu ta rĩu he andũ njũĩ wonire harĩa hĩndĩ ĩyo ya campaign na kuma hĩndĩ ĩyo matirĩ macoka kũrĩ andũ nona that's a big mistake andũ maramake no anyita
sawa niĩ ndĩrageria kũmera ndũrĩ ũguo ya ndũrĩ
sasa wega niko wa uko sawa niĩ kwanza focus yakwa nĩ maĩ nĩ ona ndirenda ona kwĩra andũ nĩ ngamekĩrĩra maĩ ndĩra andũ atĩrĩrĩ maĩ mao nĩ ngamathereria thaa ici rĩ nona kambuni ciothe iria iheanaga maĩ gũtirĩ kambuni ĩkũheaga kĩndũ gĩtagwo water quality analysis atĩ magakwĩra atĩrĩrĩ mwaka ũyũ tũkũhete maĩ maya na makoretwo na ũndũ mũna no anyita. That is something that now we must change.
Ingĩona wĩra ũyũ arutaga wa ũndirĩrĩ ndiũĩ kana hihi angĩoya gĩtĩ kĩa MCA nĩ ekũhota gũcoka gũthondeka ũndiri ũguo atũthondekeire rĩu niĩ ingĩmwĩra we aikare thĩ ethime erore athiĩ siasa-inĩ kana nĩ egũkĩrekereria gũkũ tondũ ndingĩenda rĩu ningĩ arekererie gũkũ ũndiri kana atĩa tũngĩenda
ikare imenyereirwo nigetha ona andũ arĩa mathiĩte gũthomera ũhoro wa environment rĩ makorwo hena mũndũ ũrama guide makamenya ũrĩa mekũdinio na environment.
Hi. Bado. Today we are preparing for World Wetlands Day, national event which is happening here at Ondire Wetland. I feel so honored because this is something that we have lobbied for many years and hoped that it would happen. And now history is being made in Kikuyu because this is the first national event that is happening here in Kikuyu, and therefore I'm very excited. This wetland extends from the east to the west. So on this side, the northern side, that is where we have Kikuyu town, which is less than 300 meters from here. And then on this side, we have a place called Ondire. Ondire, we call it the breadbasket of Kikuyu because there is a lot of farming activities. This place is a bird watcher's paradise. It has 76 species of birds. Part of the request that we are making that at least we have some bird watching towers.
Maybe they contribute as they enter to walk around?
Yes.
Or bird watching?
Yes.
But you need some income?
Yes.
Those are the discussions.
As a community organization, we couldn't be able to do enforcement. So we needed NEMA, we needed the county government, we needed other agencies.
We are blessing the tree
to
grow and be a serious conservation.
This is also the source of water for a place that is called Kikuyu Springs. And Kikuyu Springs is the oldest source of piped water for the city of Nairobi, which was connected in 1906. So Ondire continues to give water to Nairobi over 100 years. When our children becomes the leaders of this world, they will not ask us, where were you when our wetlands were being degraded? where were you when our wetlands were disappearing? So that is the cornerstone of my conservation work. And another thing that we are hoping to achieve in the days to come is to have this wetland recognized as a wetland of international importance. So far, in the Republic of Kenya, we have 6 wetlands of international importance, and we want Ondiro wetland to be the 7th.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Ukiwa na dukuduku la michezo, tunafungua sanduku la dukuduku kwa ufahamu zaidi. Kila danadana, mitimko, mifiatuko na harakati zote ugani, sisi ni wako mwandani. Kukurukakara zote nyanjani, haziwezi kuangaziwa zaidi ya micharazo michezoni. Mimi mwanaspoti wako matata Peter Pinches Mwaora, ndakuwa na jopo lenye maarifa sufufu, nikufahamishe na nikuburudishe wewe shabiki shakiki kwa uhakiki na kindakindaki.
The common law is still part of our law. And under common law, there is something called presumption of marriage.
Okay.
But a presumption of marriage is only declared by a court. You have to go to court and for the court to presume you to be married. So it means you will be married by a court case. So instead of waiting to be married by the court and giving the court the work.
Sasa ni bora zaidi, mwanzo mpya, mambo mapya. Msimu mwingine wa Boresha Kilimo unakuletea teknolojia ibuka, kilimo mseto, uongezaji thamani. Teknolojia dijitali ya mauzo inawezesha ufikiaji wa masoko. Soko moko yako, mahangaiko yako ya kufikia masoko yamefika kikomo, manake tunao Mkulima Yangu.
What Mkulima Yangu does is it connects farmers with the market.
Hii ni Boresha Kilimo kwa ushirikiano na Mkulima Yangu. Atafutaye hachoki na kichoka kesha pata. Kwa makala maalum ya kilimo, ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 kwenye kipindi ukipendacho Boresha Kilimo.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business laws, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Somebody start a miku with a fafa. Cheki vile umenifikisha faa. Umenibariki sana vile vile inafaa. Jehova wendo Adonai, wendo my God.
Usually keep us over me. Wanitapiga mimi sitakoma mimi. Najua uko bado nami. Wewe ndiye mwenye nyaga Adonai. Usually keep us over me.
A very big shout out to Malfanso Entertainment Friday KUTV. It will be one of the biggest entertainment shows. It's fun. You may like, and I'll be back again. So make sure you watch and stay tuned. Share with your friends and make sure you stream the album Greatness.
Vile welcome through is sufficient. Kando nikizima una grand wishes. Na ma offense ikikam kwa defense. Unani defend.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Make a date with me, Samson Jura, every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Karibu kwenye mitindo ya kipwani. Yaani unavyoona basi niko kipwani pwani tu.
Unapopika inatakana uko half cooked. Tui ni nazi imekunwa, inawekwa kwa hii samaki juu. Wewe mwenyewe ukiangalia samaki, mtazamaji, utaona vile inapendeza.
Niko Kilifi, niko katika kaunti ya Kilifi, magavazi ya Gede.
Samaki mwenyewe ndio huyo kidogo. Samaki kidogo iko na maajabu kwa sababu ni tumbo yake iko juu ya kichwa.
Karibu sana kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV, ukiwa nami nahodha mwendesha chombo si mwingine bali ni bibie ua linalonukia na kuvutia, Waridi Samu.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
This is my hometown. I said my name, I will never give up. Na hata nikisonga away. Everybody wanna feel like me. You're just like a river. Real thing, if I never mama, I wouldn't believe it.
Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Nice to nice weke story. Kata maji pia shada liko na nikosa msuko si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe.
Big up, Zade, Ukiwa, Adriva, big up, Sis, big up, Shows, Mama, big up, Oya, Wase wote, okay, my principal, big up. Whatever me say no, I know, I know, Dansi meshika mashitani, kila tuche kila mtaani, dansi naleta burudani.
Hello, I'm Esther Githu Ewart. It's Friday, October 21st. This is Africa 54.
Chad clashes kill at least 50 as people protest the junta dragging its feet on a civilian transition that was supposed to already take place. Mali slams France, accusing Paris of violating its sovereignty with alleged overflights and arming militants. France denies, as David Doyle reports. South African hip-hop and neo-soul artist Nyota Parker tells VOA's Heather Maxwell about her just-dropped release and performs 2 of its tracks.
Deadly clashes between police and demonstrators protesting the military's grip on power has claimed at least 50 lives and left 300 injured, according to Chadian Prime Minister Saleh Kebzabo. Paul Ndiho has more.
Hundreds of demonstrators turned out in Chad's capital, N'Djamena, and elsewhere on Friday to mark the date when the military had initially promised to hand over power. However, the deadline to hand over power is being extended to 2 more years. Prime Minister Saleh Kebzabo has also announced a curfew.
The transitional government that I led, following the grave abuses experienced this morning, has taken the following precautionary measures: to impose a curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. until order is fully restored in N'Djamena, Mondu, Doba, and Kumra.
The curfew is expected to remain in place until there is a total restoration of order. Kezabo also announced the suspension of all public activity of major opposition groups, including the civil society coalition, Wakit Tema. In a tweet, the chairman of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, called for an end to the violence, saying, quote, "I strongly condemn the repression of the demonstration that led to the people's death in Chad. I call upon the parties to respect human life and property and to favor peaceful means to overcome the crisis." Following violent clashes in the streets of N'Djamena between the police and the protesters, France, Chad's former colonial power, is condemning the violence, noting it featured the use of lethal weapons against demonstrators. The United Nations says it deplores the deadly use of force and called on an investigation into reportedly human rights violations. The European Union is also condemning the violence. The protest violence comes on the heels of a national forum organized by Mahamat into extending his power. The 38-year-old five-star general took power in April 2021 after his iron-fisted father, Idris Deby, died in power after 3 decades. He was killed during an operation against the rebels. Diby's junta had initially declared it would restore civilian rule after
airspace and delivering arms to militants. Francis denies accusations. David Doyle has more.
Mali's foreign minister has said the country reserves the right to defend itself if France continues to undermine his country's sovereignty and national security. At the United Nations Security Council briefing on Tuesday, Abdoulaye Diop repeated allegations that France had violated Mali's airspace and delivered arms to militants in the country's north. He called for a Security Council meeting to bring to light evidence of duplicitous acts, acts of espionage, and acts of destabilization waged by France. Relations have soured between the West African country and its former colonial ruler since a Malian coup in August 2020. France, which has been withdrawing troops sent in almost a decade ago to fight an insurgency, denied Mali's, quote, defamatory accusations. Its representative defended the French intervention in Mali as fully transparent and said France had never violated any airspace. Mali's Minister Diop also denied human rights violations by the Malian army, which have been reported by the UN and other groups. Several reports accused the Malian army and Russian mercenaries over the killing of civilians and of suspected collusion with jihadists. Diop said the allegations were unfounded and warned against instrumentalizing human rights issues. Mali has faced instability since 2012, when militants, some with links to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, hijacked a Tuareg rebellion. On Monday, 4 UN peacekeepers died after their vehicle hit an improvised explosive device in Mali's Kidal region.
That was David Doe of Reuters reporting. Now, for more insight into Mali's discontent with France, I'm joined live via Skype from Houston, Texas, by Aristide Sidibe, a West African political analyst. Mr. Aristide, welcome back to Africa 54.
Thank you, Esther, for having me today.
So what's the basis of Foreign Minister Diop's sentiments, and he seems to be very angry with France?
Thank you for the question, and he has a reason to be angry. Mali has documented about 50 instances when France Barkhane violated Mali airspace. And Esther, let me take you back to 2012, when the first transition, when we have a transitional government at the time, after the separatist group overthrown much of the northern part of Mali. And remember, those separatist group were out with jihadist group. It's not, and we have a French official acknowledging at the time, and one of the ambassadors at the time in Mali was fired the foreign minister in France of basically telling his superior in France that the fact that France is providing support to those separatist groups is not something that is sustainable, because those separatist groups are in well-documented partnership with Islamist groups. So this is something that's been going on for before the current transitional government took power.
And how do you explain, because across the region, the Sahel region, most of the West African countries also that have experienced political upheaval lately, the coups that we have seen, there is anti-French sentiments there. What's fueling this?
Esther, on your show, I've been saying for quite some time that the resentment is deep. It has nothing to do with the Russian. It's been boiling over the years. And you just had an element about Chad. What the reporter has not said, the French government stated that this is an internal affair of Chad. I mean, this is something, 50 people have died, 100 people wounded. So France has been supporting dictator across France's ex-colony for years. Mm-hmm. And that's fueling the resentment. That has nothing to do with the Russian. And one of the things that I've been saying for quite some time is the U.S. role in this. The U.S. need to separate itself from the French policy in the Sahel. And I'm glad that the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs is currently in the region, was in Mali a few days ago. They need to engage those folks. They need to make sure that they hear the cry of the people. Because France, the alternative is people do whatever they need to survive.
Aristide, we'll have to explore this a little further some other time. Thank you so much for your insight. Aristide Sidibe is a West African political analyst. The African Union Conflict Resolution Group is meeting Friday to discuss the war in northern Ethiopia and Monday's peace talks aimed at ending nearly 2 years of fighting. AU Special Envoy Olusegun Obasanjo is expected to mediate Monday's talks on the Tigray conflict in South Africa. Ethiopia's government says it has been invited to the peace talks by the AU and would participate. Tigray rebel leaders have only reiterated their commitment to the AU-led peace process. For the latest on the UN Security Council's meeting in Ethiopia, I'm joined by VOA UN correspondent Margaret Bashir. Hello, Margaret.
Good afternoon, Esther.
What are you learning about this behind a closed-door meeting by the UN Security Council on Ethiopia?
So this meeting was called by the African members of the Council, Gabon, Ghana, Kenya. They've been in there for about 2 hours, but it looks like it's just breaking up now. I see some diplomats coming out. The Ethiopian ambassador was part of this meeting. He was allowed to be there with them to represent his government. On Monday, Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed deep concern about the situation. He says it's spiraling out of control. There's great concern for civilians who are caught in these clashes, this joint Ethiopian-Eritrean offensive in Tigray. They seem to be making some gains in the area against the Tigrayan forces. Obasanjo was briefing the Security Council here in New York as well by video. He did the AU Peace and Security Council, as you mentioned a little earlier, and he gave the briefing to the diplomats here. They hope to get those talks started on Monday in South Africa. But with the Tigrayans on the back foot and the Ethiopians going strong, there's some worry among diplomats that maybe Monday won't happen. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And we're hoping to hear possibly a statement from the Security Council here in New York supporting a ceasefire, a return to talks. All 15 members have to agree on it, so it's just a little early to say whether that will happen today or not.
Margaret, the United Nations has really shed some, light on what's happening in Ethiopia. What seems to be the number one concern of the United Nations regarding Ethiopia right now?
Oh, I think the protection of civilians, absolutely. We heard from the special advisor on the prevention of genocide this week. She said that inflammatory language, hate speech is being used in this conflict. That's a marker of trouble, and she's worried about political groups, armed groups, the language they're using. There's blogs calling for genocide against the Tigrayan people, so they're very alarmed about the direction that this conflict is going in.
Margaret, thank you very much for your reporting. VOA's Margaret Bashir reporting live from the United Nations. Ghanaian-born author and publisher Cadmiel van der Puige is the chief executive of the Voice of Africa Media. His newspaper, The Voice of Africa, amplifies Africans worldwide. He also runs the Father's Haven Children's Home in Kenya. He joins me in the studio to tell us more. Cadmiel, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you for having me, Esther.
First of all, what prompted this publication, The Voice of Africa?
So The Voice of Africa was actually founded by my father, Dr. Kinsley van der Puige, in efforts to change the narrative of Africa and the media.
And what's the most sought after content by the African diaspora here in the Washington, D.C. area?
Right, so we currently have two different types of audiences that we market to. Our newspaper is targeted more so to age demographics from 35, 65 and up. With them, they're looking for more so news that's going on in the continent, so they still have a feel being back home. We also have a digital platform which is targeted at age 16 to 30.